Hello and welcome to another Microsoft Azure video tutorial. This one is about resizing your drive space. So if you watched the previous series of Azure tutorials, you'll see how I've created some videos just to set up a cost-effective server. So if you're doing things for testing purposes, then it's only using a server that's using 30 gig in terms of space. So I think the allocations provided in terms of a cost point of view from Microsoft are 32, 64, 128. So you can use some of the images in the store which start off with small disk, and that will just get you a small server or workstation up and running, which should be adequate. But if you need to do a little bit more work, then you may want to resize it. You could start off from just using their standard images, which is around 127, so that'll take the 128 gig. So you would be paying obviously the third tier for that. So I would rather say start small with the 30 gig, and if you need that more space, go up to the next size, which is 64. So in order to do that, you simply browse to the virtual machine in Azure. You need to make sure that it's not just only stopped. You can see I've actually clicked on stop now to deallocate this, and that's in the process of doing so. So we can see that has now been deallocated. So not just stopped, but stopped and deallocated, which then allows us to do some resizing. So first of all, if you go into the size bit here, you can see you can change the processor, the RAM, etc. Typically, I'm using between the B1S and the B2S. You'll see that they're quite cost effective, but they're not in operation if you have got them stopped and deallocated. And then again, from the drive point of view, if you go into the disks, we can see at the moment I'm using the premium solid state drive. So if these aren't in any kind of operation over a period of time, then I would suggest you go into the drive, click on the size and the performance, and you can change that from a solid state drive to a standard hard drive, and then that will have minimal costs occurring on a daily basis, so pennies really. I've got it in the premium SSD at the moment while I'm in my process of demonstration and testing, etc. And I'm currently at 32 gigs. I do need a little bit more because I've got a couple of applications with databases that I need to test. So as I said, rather than jump straight to this 128 and then have that at rest occurring more money on a daily basis, I will just simply go to the next tier. 64 should be more than enough. And it's just simply a case of selecting that drive. I did say different tiers. There are sort of smaller ones, but when you create the stuff from the store, the smallest you're getting really is, as I say, the 30 gig one from the small disk. So that's what I've used for my particular server. So we're going to go to 64 gig, click on resize, and then that's in the process of updating the drive size. So that's step one of the process. The next thing we need to do then is to actually go into the server. So I'm going to start that off. And then when that's up and running, we're going to go into the server itself and then allocate that space. So I'm just going to click on pause while that's booting up. Shouldn't take that long. Okay, the machine is now booted up, and we can see the total disk space is still at the 37.51. So we know that we're really creaking at the bones. If we go into the PC, you'll see that it's highlighted. There's only a few hundred megs left, so we need to obviously expand. So we've already allocated, or we've actually got some space. We just need to allocate it. Now, typically what I would normally do is I would actually go into a command prompt, and I would use the disk part. And if you see, there's a number of commands you can use. So we can see the expand there. So when you list the disk, for example, we can see there that it's 64 gig inside, and we've got 34 gig free, and then I would use the allocate that. But what we're going to do is we're going to use an easier method and go into the computer management. So I will select the computer management, Go to disk management, and we can see again that disk 0 has got 34 gigs unallocated. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click on the drive, extend the volume, and that will take you through a wizard. So we can see at the moment there's the disk, we've got 34 gigs, so we'll just allocate all of that. Click on next, click on finish, and there we are, nice and quickly, without having to type in all those commands, we have now allocated that additional space. So if I refresh this now, hopefully we should see that allocation. There we are, so we've got some more disk space. Go back into File Explorer, and we can see we've got plenty more space to work with. So I hope that's been useful for you and provided you with some information how to expand that disk. So as I say, if you watch the earlier tutorials, you'll see how you can keep it nice and small. You don't have to go straight away for these large disks, and hopefully that's been useful should you need to expand in the future. Thank you for watching.